Okay, listen. This is a summary of what happened. This is atrocious. I was just talking to my camcorder camera, and I was like, I gotta make this into a video. All he wanted to do was get off probation, leave that psych program. I got toothpaste on my face. I just brushed my teeth. Um, get off. All he wanted to do was get off probation, leave that psych program, lose the weight that he had gained from that medication. And I have great genetics for fitness modeling, bodybuilding, you name it. Um, I just wanted my body back, which I did. I got that back. I started working again. I signed up at the boxing gym. I had that in my work schedule, so I wasn't working Wednesday nights. So these are basic things. The first thing I had to do to get away from that psych program was get off probation. I got off probation. I left the psych program. I lost all the weight that I had gained. I started working again. I was working part-time. Then all I wanted to do was get into a different apartment and find a girlfriend. That's all I wanted to do. And I ended up losing contact with the housing subsidy. I lost my subsidy. My car broke down. The transmission went. Then I lost my wallet. I couldn't get the dispensary, and I broke my tablet. The screen cracked on it somewhere along the storyline, and I couldn't get on my tablet, and I couldn't get on the apps that I was on because my tablet was broken. Then the pandemic hit. I missed court. I didn't know I had a hearing coming up. I was on my way to the courthouse and I was detained at the dollar store. It was atrocious. I spent an extra 3 months in jail for my DUI. I don't know why they kept me in jail. I was only supposed to be in there for 3 months. They kept me in there for 6 months. I went home to my father's house. I was instead of being welcomed home, I was antagonized. I was chased around the house with a baseball bat. He took a baseball bat and smashed my air purifier. One morning, unprovoked, unprecedented behavior, he smashed all my scorpion enclosures. My scorpions were being kept in sterilite tubs with sand. He smashed those along with my new $500 Sonora leopard boa that I purchased from Bob Clark. I had just gotten that, only had it for about 2 weeks. That was okay. I lost a couple of the scorpions. I put the containers back together, and my boa constrictor was okay. I found it sitting up the electrical wires up on, it was in the back bungalow of the house. And another time, he slammed my leopard boa enclosure in the driveway, and my leopard boa was curled up in a defense ball. And when I ran my fingers down his spine to make sure it was okay, there was a little area of his spine that was broken or protruding out of the spinal area. But it's still eating, it's still alive. It's at the house, he's been feeding it. This was 3.5, 4 years ago. And he smashed my laptop that I purchased to watch webcam girls. And I slept on the bathroom floor one day because I didn't feel safe sleeping on the couch. And then what happened was, so as I was enduring this antagonization, one morning he chased me down the steps and threw some stuff at the shelf at me. I threw a candle back up the steps at him, and I ran up the stairs and I kicked him, and he yelled, "Call the cops, Jennifer. I think we got him." And to backtrack the story, I was sleeping in the bathroom and I woke up and Jennifer was in the other room saying, "Do it while he's not on live stream." And he started banging on the door with a baseball bat. And keep in mind, I didn't have my photo ID. I didn't have any money because I was still waiting for my Social Security to get the facts they needed. And I was running out of food. I had my food stashed in Sterilite tubs, like a supply, so I didn't have to go to the store every day with him because I didn't have my car at the time. And my food supply was running low. I didn't have a photo ID to check into a hotel. So I was stranded at the house with nowhere to go. And one time, his behavior became so dangerous, he put my leopard boa out in the back porch area when it was snowing. Took a Sterilite tub and put it out back, and I grabbed it and I brought it back into the back bungalow and put a heat light on it. And there was no heat back there, it was just heat light. I took the leopard boa, I put it in a shoebox, and I put it up in Jeremy's hallway underneath the neighbor's stuff that they had cluttered in the hallway. I put it in a shoebox and I taped it shut, and it was up there for about a week. And I went up there one time and I fed it a frozen thawed mouse, and I think the cops were by the house once because of what was happening. And I think I said I had my leopard boa across town in somebody's hallway because he put it outside in his wintertime. He put it out in the snow. And this was before he picked up the Sterilite tub and ran outside like a WWE wrestler and body slammed this enclosure in the driveway. And so one morning, after I slept outside in this new trailer that he purchased during a snowstorm, it had like propane heat or something, so the heat worked. But I woke up, I didn't even have my coffee. I was going to ground my coffee up and boil the coffee beans the old-fashioned way instead of making coffee inside because I didn't know what kind of mind state he was in. And I didn't even get to do that. I didn't even get to smoke a cigarette. Didn't even get to go to the bathroom yet. I wasn't even awake for 5 minutes. I knocked on the door and I went in. I took a piss in the bathroom. I followed him upstairs and something was telling me, just ask her for a cigarette. She's not going to care. Now, I had quit smoking before this, but my nerves were bad, and I didn't have my medical marijuana at the time, so I was smoking cigarettes. But I asked her to be polite. I said, "Jennifer, can I have a cigarette?" And he turned around, and he looked crazy, and he chased me down the steps, knocked the stuff off the shelf, threw some stuff at me. I ran out the front door. I was like, fuck this, I'm getting sick of this. I turned around, and as he was at the top of the steps, I threw the candle back up at him. It wasn't lit or anything, it was just a candle. And then he kind of ducked and fell, and he was on the ground, getting up. And I ran up the stairs and I kicked him before he could get up. And I ran back downstairs and I ran out the front door. But when I kicked him and actually made physical contact, he said, "Call the cops, Jennifer. I think we got him." And when you say something like that, you're intentionally antagonizing somebody. You're smashing all their property. When my scorpion survived being bashed with the bat and I put them back together in their enclosures. When I was up at Jeremy's place, he put my scorpions out on the front step in wintertime, and by the time I came back to the house, they were dead. They were frozen because it was so cold outside. They were Androctonus australis that I got from underground reptiles. So you're telling me it's okay for him to do all of this stuff to me over a 2-month period? One time he had me cornered in the bathroom with a baseball bat. Another time it happened in the living room. He threw my brand new jacket outside, and then I tried to lock him outside, and somehow my laptop landed on the ground. I don't know how it happened, but then he took a baseball bat that he was holding, and he started jumping up and down like a monkey and smashing my laptop. My brand new laptop that I just purchased for $300. So then I was stranded at his house with no cell phone, no laptop. My air purifier was smashed. My scorpions were dead. Um, my leopard boa was. I had brought it back from the hallway across town, and I put it back inside the house. But the day I was arrested, he threw that outside, but he brought it back in after the cops took me away. And the leopard boa is still alive. He's been feeding it. I don't know how big it is, but he's been feeding it like 2 mice every week or so. And so it's getting fed 2 or 3 times a month. And he ordered me some books. He's ordered me some Boost Nutrition drinks. He put $100 worth of tea in order in for me, because I drink turmeric tea, nighty-night tea, and peppermint tea, and ashwagandha. And so I utilize the time by reading and educating myself with a bunch of books that I have, and I made up with my I made up with my family, and I said it's not your fault. If I would have been allowed to go to court like a normal person, my charges would have been dropped, and I would have been released, and I would have moved on with my life. But the point of this video is that Montgomery County I spent 2.5 years in a state hospital for kicking my father one time. It's a petty, simple assault. It doesn't even really hold any jail time, especially in those circumstances. I was being antagonized and abused at the house. With the backstory of what he was doing to me is worse than what I did. My situation was I was just getting fed up with putting up with him, and one morning I finally fought back and I kicked him, and he yelled, "Call the cops, Jennifer. I think we got him." And I was sent to jail for 4 months. Then I was transferred to a state hospital for 2.5 years. Hell, I should have been cleared after my first competency evaluation, but it was competency fraud. The competency lady was completely disrespectful. It was competency fraud. I have to wrap up this video. I was held in there for 2.5 years, made to conform to psychiatry, even though I hadn't had any behavioral problems. There wasn't anything wrong. I never said anything delusional to the doctor. And then they sent me to this RTF facility with an undisclosed location where I'd been for 6 months. And they're trying to get another 6 months order to get me to a CRR group home. So I've been detained for 3.5 to 4 years for kicking my father after he was smashing all my property and smashing my pets with a baseball bat. And they're making me conform to psychiatry to get out of here. It's a complete violation of human rights.